So check it out. In this video, I'm gonna give you some killer tips of things I use around the SedgeTool shop that are everyday household items, and they're free. So stay tuned. So a lot of people have come up to me when they come to my shop and they look at my tool tilt and they go, what the heck is this? It's a piece of wax. And I use it for a variety of reasons, but I always have it in my tool tilt back here. Now, it's simple. It's what we use to do canning of fruits and vegetables, and it's canning wax. You can get it in any supermarket. I just grabbed this out of the kitchen, and you'll see this is very old, and it comes in layers. And I just take it and I chop it up, and I use it on my hand planes to make it a lot slicker. Hey, another place I use wax. I've had this forever. There's my drawers that, I use as a dead man. But sometimes they hesitate a little. So I just do this underneath, like this, and just give it a little quick waxing. And guess what? It slides in and out a lot easier. So I do not like to spend money if I don't have to. When I have something just hanging around the shop. You all have this. When you mill lumber, you're left with these little offcuts, these strips. Instead of going out and buying stir sticks, I see people do this all the time. Just cut them into manageable pieces. So anytime you need to mix up some epoxy or stir up a finish, you have something readily available, and just put them in your finish cabinet so they're right at hand. Next tip. Okay, this one drives the missus crazy in my house. It's not that I'm a pack rat. It's not that I like clutter. And it's not that I don't like recycling. But these are free containers that are getting thrown into the recycling bin. I use them all the time. Yeah, you're going to see I have a lot of pickle jars here because I like pickles. But every time we empty one, she gives it to me and I decide if I need to keep any. Okay, but here is why. Whether I'm cleaning parts, I save these as they get deteriorated, or a pickle jar, because look, I can put a mix that I have in here that I use all the time. In fact, I got 2 jars of it. I call it my seal coat. Here's the tip for you. Get yourself a good labeler and label them what's inside, because sometimes I used to pick these up and go, okay, what's in here? But you'll see this is a stain I've altered, I've mixed up. This is an antiquing finish I have in here. Of course, you know about the stir sticks. I always have them readily available. I also use the lids, and I use this. I'll put some glue in there, and this is where I'll butter my dominoes for my mortise and tenon joinery. Also, I use these. I test them first. If I'm going to use lacquer thinner to clean things, I'll put them in these containers. This actually holds pretty good, especially when you use a lacquer thinner. So old containers, save them. You'll use them all over your shop. Oh yeah, make sure you wash them out first. So if you made it this far in the video, now you're going to really find out how crazy I am. The next item that you all throw away is a Ziploc bag, okay? Clean ones. So say an owner's manual comes in or a part comes in when you buy something. I saved that, not all of them. And this was from a card scraper. Okay, now, the reason I save them is if I'm taking something apart, and I have a bunch of extra parts from setting up my bandsaw or setting up a router table. I take all those parts and I put them in here so I don't lose them. Okay. Now, if you save larger ones like this is something is a must-have. I used to buy larger Ziploc bags, and this tip will save you a ton of money, because if you use a roller, okay, for painting, and the next day you got to put a second coat on, or the third day, these Ziploc bags, if I take a wet roller that I have and put it in here, cage and all, like this, and seal it, now it's airtight. That will stay moist in there for 2, 3, 4 days, and I only use one cover. So Ziploc bags are a great hack / tip to keep in the shop, but don't go overboard. Just have a little area in there in one of my cabinets, which I do, and I keep them aside. So one of my favorite tips to show you today is if you travel a lot or you don't travel a lot, but you keep these and you throw them away. These are free, and these are your hotel cards. Okay, and I was running into a situation years and years ago about getting glue on a cope and stick joint. Well, it's really easy. I just lay out a little glue like this, and this makes, for me, the ultimate glue spreader. I use it for a variety of reasons. I can cut them up for some really intricate patterns, but I can just take this, and now I have a perfect glue line spread on there, and that eases the pain of glue up for cope and stick joints for me. Hotel room cards, don't throw them out. There's a variety of reasons. One of them is this. Look, you put glue out here on a board, right? And you want an even spread. All these years I've used my finger. I still think it's one of the best glue spreaders. People are making tons and tons of different profiles for glue spreaders. You have it in your hand, don't throw them away. You could just take that, and this creates such an even bead or spread along that glue line. Always have a wet rag, and I'll tell you what, it works like a champ, even in glue cleanup. Hey, another application for hotel key cards. Pretty daggone simple. You're mixing up 2-part wood epoxy, and you need to get them perfectly mixed. These are great. Also, any kind of epoxy. You're using just a little. You got to mix a little bit up just to fill something or get some glue in there. These are fantastic. And guess what you do? You just throw them away after. And just remember, you don't have to use the whole key card. You got to get in a small mortise. You just cut them up, and you can create your own profiles as well, and they work fantastic. So every time I go to the dentist, I get a free toothbrush, and I have an electric toothbrush, so I really don't need these. You could toss them out if you want. I don't. I use toothbrushes for a variety of reasons, okay? Here's one for you. Come in here, cameraman. If we look in here, you see this glue squeeze out on that OG profile in here? That's really tough to clean out. I mean, you can get the stuff on the flats and everything. So my buddy Bob's told me this. He just used to wet this and just come in and get it all with a toothbrush. It works fantastic. It saves you a ton of sanding in the long run. You can get into those nooks and crannies. This works fantastic on a bead profile as well. So another application for small brushes. You can go and buy them anywhere on Amazon, but you have them around the house. It's your toothbrush. Say it's old or new. I always have one like this nearby, and this is my small parts cleaning. When I'm taking apart my airbrush, I use that free container, and I drop those parts in there, and I let them soak. And then, as they're soaking, I just take everything like that. I just take my toothbrush and I do a quick clean on them. It works fantastic. Hey, one more tip about borrowing your spouse's toothbrush. Just make sure it doesn't go back in the bathroom. 2. Okay, so as we end this video, this is something that I have been ragged about when somebody comes into my shop. They go, Sedge, what are all these old socks, whether on my workbench or under here, my MFT? These are old socks. It sounds funny. But my wife actually likes this tip because when you get holes in your socks, we're guys. We wear these forever, right? Utilize them in your shop. These are all cotton. Okay? So if I need to remove, these are rags, but they fit on your hand and they fit great. And so when I'm removing some Rubio after it sits, I can just take it off like this, and I just rotate the sock as I do it. That's one application. So years ago, I first started using these old socks for simply applying wax to pieces that I needed wax applied to as my finish. And I love using wax as a finish. Then I could take that old sock, believe it or not, and just leave it in there and seal it up. So hopefully some of these everyday items that you possibly throw away or ignore inside the house, they can venture out into your shop. Once again, they're free. Just like you hitting the button to subscribe to the channel. Hey, as we always say on the SedgeTool shop, be positive, stay sharp, and we mean wicked sharp.